to the Food Indie Podcast, enriching the soil of how we think about what we eat. We believe that food independence is freedom, knowledge is power, and health is wealth. And now, your host, Suzette Chaumette.
Hey, Food Indie fam. Welcome to this episode of the Food Indie Podcast, where we get you closer to your food. I am your host, Suzette Chaumette, a public health educator and gardener who loves to talk about food, culture, health, and wellness. It has been a minute since I've been recording on the Food Indie Podcast, and that's because I'm working on a bunch of new things for the spring and summer, including in-person talks, workshops, and keynotes. Coming up in April, I will be presenting on food and postpartum care at a maternal health conference. There are more details on that pretty soon. And I will also be at Books Inc. in Alameda, California on April 9th. So be on the lookout on the Food Indie website at befoodindie.com because that is where I will be posting updates. And if you are looking for a speaker for your conference or event, I am available for some of the fall dates coming up. So go to befoodindie.com/contact for more information on how to get in touch. It is International Women's Month and Melanated March, y'all. I just love how folks are extending Black History Month because why are we only celebrating our greatness in the shortest month of the year? We need to be doing this every month. How about like Athletic April, Magical May, Juicy June? I mean, let's just keep it going because we need to be celebrating our greatness all the time. And for me, combining food with International Women's Month and Melanated March has been a lot of fun, a lot more fun than thinking about Valentine's Day, frankly. So that is why I did not end up doing a Valentine's Day episode. I had planned on doing that, but then I started thinking about the fact that I wanted to promote love every day, not just one day out of the year. And there's so much promotion of Valentine's Day for February 14th. But what about all of the other 364 days of the year? We need to be celebrating love all the time, y'all. And why not? We need more love in the world right now anyway, as much as we can get. So I am going to be promoting love every day in every episode as much as I possibly can. And, look, Valentine's Day, it focuses so much on couples. We focus on people being in love or trying to find love that we miss the everyday opportunities to give love to one another. And so I wanted to find a way to talk about Black history and women's history at the same time, in the same breath. I much prefer the everyday kind of love. Kind gestures, a look across the room, and sharing tasty food with somebody that I care about. That's the kind of love that fills the belly. It stimulates the mind and body, in addition to sustaining life. The kind of love that not only comes from a lover, but also great friends and family too. We all need more love, and so do you, in the big and small ways. So find somebody that you can spend some time with, share a meal, share some love, and let's make love grow. All right? So now that we are in Women's History Month, it's a great time to celebrate three things that mean so much to me: being a woman, Black culture, and love as a way of healing ourselves and those around us. In this episode, I'm going to take you to a special place where love lives and share some love rituals at the end of the episode. Because long before we started celebrating women's history, women were making history with how we fed one another and shared love through meals. On today's episode of the Food Indie Podcast, we're talking about women's history through special places like this, through markets, kitchens, gardens, and tables. So stick around. Indie is here to help you get closer to your food as medicine, and that's why I call you all the Food Indie fam. On this podcast, we talk about food in all ways: food history, love through food, food culture, and taking care of yourself through good food. How to grow, cook, eat, and advocate for healthy food right where you live. Because we all deserve healthy food, free from harmful chemicals, and as close to the way that it was grown as possible. And I'm here to share small changes that can make a huge difference in your life and your family's life. Eating healthy means that you get to show up for your family and be here for all the things that matter most to you. Baptisms, graduations, weddings, and those everyday moments that bring joy to your life. Food is health, food is freedom, and food is medicine. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the Food Indie newsletter where you will find recipes, gardening tips, and much more from the Food Indie kitchen. Are you already getting the Food Indie newsletter? You know you really need to, because that is where you will find the recipes that we talk about in this show, along with special cooking tips from me, the Food Indie trivia quiz, and DIY video links. And if you already get the newsletter, thank you so much for subscribing. Please share it with others so that we can grow together. I want to remind you that I've created an exclusive women's health series for couples in the newsletter. It's where we talk about food, hormones, fertility, intimacy, and the wisdom of our bodies and how they carry that into every stage of life. If you're ready for a deeper relationship guidance and recipes made with couples in mind, join me there. Food Indie is here to help people grow indie food forests that will save folks money, get you away from harmful pesticides, like I said earlier, and helping you connect with people in your community. Tell your friends, family, and people in your neighborhood about Food Indie. I really do appreciate it. And for those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome to the Food Indie fam. We are so happy to have you here to join in the conversation. You are welcome to send me your comments, questions, and show ideas at befoodindie.com/contact. If you've got an idea about food that you want to explore, send it to me there. And you might just end up with your topic on the Food Indie podcast. If you want to know more about food independence, growing food, and cooking for wellness, hit the subscribe button so that you get notified whenever a new episode drops. More information about our coaching program, the podcast, and our newsletter are available at befoodindie.com. That's befoodindy.com. Thanks in advance. Before there were neighborhood grocery stores and nutrition labels to read, before the butcher shop and the specialty food stores, there were open-air markets, the place where people gathered to shop, meet with friends, and connect with community. And today, I want to invite you, just for a moment, into one of them. Imagine an early morning in a West African marketplace. Stalls overflow with vivid, kaleidoscopic fabrics of African wax prints, alongside shimmering copperware and piles of brilliant red, aromatic spices. The sun hasn't fully risen yet, but the air is already warm and heating up by the minute. People are moving about in every direction, women in colorful dresses and neatly tied head wraps, arriving with baskets balanced effortlessly on their heads. Elders seated low, sorting and blessing what they would sell for the day. Children, laughing, playing, helping their parents, grandparents, aunties, and uncles. The air is thick with the scent of salted dried fish and roasted peanuts, while the gentle wind carries the shouts of vendors bargaining for the best price and the rhythm of steady, energetic drums. You smell citrus peel brightening the air, palm oil glowing red like the sunset, fresh ginger, spicy, alive, awake. There is talking, laughter, and joy. The marketplace is bustling, crowded, an authentic epicenter of life where people sell everything from handmade sandals to healing herbs, offering a glimpse into the heart of West African daily commerce. Here, we know the farmer, the food, and the family. This is business and relationship building at the most foundational level. Food here is slow, not rushed. It is touched, felt, smelled, observed. It is chosen by hands with care, kind of like good love. So often, Black history and women's history are taught through suffering and oppression, which I won't dismiss, but for this conversation, I want to highlight that our ancestors also lived in color, in beauty, intimacy, and attention. They knew how to feel when okra was tender enough for the stew, how to smell when greens were ready to come off the fire, and how to layer spices with love so food lingered on the tongue. Though our history is currently actively under attack and has been for quite some time, our ancestors brought their knowledge across the Atlantic Ocean. And we can't forget that. Even when ingredients were taken away, memory was not. And we found ways to bring seeds and grains in our braided hair. Our history still informs our present today. Here in America, our ancestors recreated the foods of their ancestors. Thick stews that fed bodies, porridges that restored strength, bitter greens that cleared heaviness from the blood and the spirit. Food became a way to say, I see your strength and your tiredness, and I will help carry it with you. That is love. In Black communities all around the world, intimacy has never been loud. It has been intentional, though. It looked like saving the ripest mango for someone else, pouring tea slowly, letting steam rise between two people, tearing bread by hand so everyone could have a piece. Now let's go back to the African marketplace for just a moment. There you would find foods that did more than fill the stomach. You would find foods that warmed the blood, softened the body, and invited closeness. Think of cocoa or cacao, sacred, ceremonial, bitter, and rich. Ginger stirs circulation, waking desire for life. Nuts and seeds were symbols of fertility and continuity. And honey, not sweet for excess, but for balance. These foods were not labeled aphrodisiacs. They were understood as life-giving. To prepare them was to say, may you feel well in your body. Remember, intimacy does not begin in the bedroom. It begins in care, a gentle touch, maybe a shared meal. Now, I'd like you to take just a quick moment to imagine a place where food felt alive. Where were you? What did you see? How did you feel? In this next segment of the show, I am going to talk to you about some ancient love rituals that have been passed down through the ages, rooted in Black food traditions that we can reclaim today and practice ourselves. The first love ritual is cooking as attention. No matter where you are in the world, in many Black homes, cooking is never casual. Even on ordinary days, it requires listening, timing, and patience. To cook for someone or your family is to pay attention to how they are feeling. Are they celebrating a big win at work, at school, or in a sport? Are they excited about something? This is the time to bring out the colorful vegetables, fruits, and spices like turmeric and cumin. Is your loved one weary, tired, or low on energy? Then make something slow, like a hearty soup or stew in a crock pot or over a low simmer. What about those new parents in your life with a newborn at home? They might need something warm and full of greens and beans to help support healing and breastfeeding. This is how to love through food, responding to the energy that we feel from people around us. This second ritual is about not what we eat, but how we eat, sharing from the same bowl. Across the African diaspora, eating together often meant shared plates, bowls, and vessels. Everyone gets some. There's not a hierarchy, and we eat slowly, talking to one another around the table. No phones or tablets, and of course, no rushing. Just being present with the people around you. Sharing food this way teaches awareness of others, pacing, and mutual care. It says we're in this together. You get some, I get some, they get some. We all share this meal together. The third ritual is feeding yourself first. Now, for some people, that might seem selfish, but feeding yourself first is, this one's a little bit harder because so many of us learned to serve until we disappeared, right? I have been a caregiver so much in my life that I have often forgotten to eat when other people were eating. And so this one would be good for me because I do not always feed myself first. But there's one thing our ancestors understood is that an empty cook cannot nourish other people. So feeding yourself well, regularly, and intentionally is how love stays possible. Remember, it's just like on an airplane when they say to put your mask on first. That way you can help support other people. The same is true for your food. Make sure you nourish yourself and you nourish your body so that you can continue to love and nourish other people. So think for a moment what it would look like to treat your next meal as a small ritual of care with one of these three rituals. Whether you're giving somebody some attention by paying attention to what's going on with them, or sharing a meal from the same bowl, or feeding yourself first. What do you think it would be like to take one of these on, or all of them? How can that help you? Now, Black love has always existed under pressure, and yet people still dress food beautifully, gather anyway, and pass along knowledge quietly and carefully. To love, to cook, to feed, and to gather is an insistence on humanity. That insistence is still available to us. So every time you cook a meal slowly or sit down to eat, ask someone how they are and wait for the answer. Actually listen to them because you are participating in a lineage. Today, I'm going to leave you with this. History is not only something that we study, it is something that we consistently practice through food, through care, and through how we treat one another when no one is watching. My work through Food Indie, whether through podcasting, writing, or live gatherings, is about helping people relearn these practices in modern life. So if this episode stirred something in you, stay connected with me through the newsletter or podcast at befoodindie.com and share this work with someone who would feel seen here. And if you're part of a bookstore, a school, a wellness space, or an organization, I create talks, workshops, and food-centered rituals like this one, designed to help communities slow down, connect, and remember together. Thank you for walking with me through memory today. Love is closer than you think. It's in the pot, it's in the story, it's in your hands. Stay rooted, stay radiant, stay free. Food is your medicine. Thank you, everybody, for listening today. Our next episode is going to be about spring wellness and Earth Day. So please do tune in and make sure to hit subscribe so that you get a notification when that episode drops. I want to thank my team here at Food Indie, Adrian Davis and Salim Naji Allah from One Hitter Entertainment, Suzette Chaumette Brown, who wrote the Food Indie podcast theme song, and you, our Food Indie podcast listeners. Thank you so much for being here. We would not be doing this without you. See you next time for our Earth Day episode and Spring Wellness. I am Suzette Chaumette.